Hello everyone, my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'm your Devops SRE DevSecOps coach. So the first thing uh, we should know that what is Git? Simple. What is Git? So I'll not complicate this one because some of the person already have that fair idea, but some of the person who has no idea, just for them also. So this is like a version control tool, but for what? But for source code. So you want to, version control. For that reason, we use Git. Now, when I say version control, that means, see, we modify the source code over the period of time, but not by you, but many other people. So you want to know who has modified the code, what modifications was done, when modifications was done, why modifications were made, and you know when where this modification is made. So these are the questions you want to know, historical knowledge you want to know. So for that we use Git. Okay. So now question is like, okay, fine. How to install Git? Now I think most of you might have installed the Git. If not, you come to this place, git-scm .com, and here there is a. If you access this website from Windows, you'll get a Windows option. If you from Linux or Mac, accordingly you'll get it and install it. It's a executable. Download, next, and finish. That's all. I don't think so I have to tell you for all that. Once you install the Git, you will find it git bash, which is here. You see, git bash is here. Or command line also you can use it, but git bash is the one utility which you will get it along with it. So basically, git bash has been given by them. Why? So git bash has been given because git bash is a kind of utility where you can run a basic Linux command being in Windows. Basic, not every commands, few basic Linux command. So now how do we open? So let me create one folder and git, and here show this is the one. Here it is. So this is something you can open. Now I'm going to create one directory here. Okay, it's already there. No, git is created. So this is a command shell where Linux command also will work, basic Linux. Okay, so here you can do that stuff. So now the question is, okay, after the installing the Git, what you are going to do? So let me tell you, Git is a developer tool. So you have to install in your desktop only, workstation only. Why? Because that's where you will write a code, right? You'll not write code somewhere else. So you should install it though. Other machines also, wherever you can install anywhere, Linux, Windows, Mac, wherever. Okay, so now next question is the question. First, before that, let me check if I'm starting recording. Yeah, next question is how to start working on it. How to start working on it, and that is important. So I call it a Git basic workflow. So what I will do, I'll just go to Google, Git basic workflow, and DevOps school. Okay, so this is the uh, one. So I'll share with you this URL. Okay, now here if you see that step number one, first install the Git client, which I did that, and here you have a tutorials detail one. Then after that you have to create a Git repo. How do we create a repo? So the command is git init. So git init will create a repo. So now git init done, and you see here dot git is the feature. So dot git is your the repository, and you cannot see that because it's a hidden directory will be created. That's a repository. So if you go to the folder, see is I cannot see that, right? But if I enable the hidden one. Oh, is there? No? Why I'm not able to see? Desktop Git. Desktop Git. Oh, sorry. I was hitting the different locations. Here, see, .git, right? So that's a repository. It's an empty one right now. It got created. If you see that here, empty repository created. So that is the first step, step one. Okay. After that, what you need to do? Where is tutorial? I'm lost. Here it is. So that is the first step. I mean, step number 2. Then after that, you need to decide what files you want to version. Okay. What files you want to version, that you can decide. Either you copy hundreds of files from the different locations to this location. Okay. Or you start writing a code, it's up to you. So just for the demo part, I'll create a big file from the command line. So file1.java, file2.java, file3.java, and this is the 3 files which you have. Okay, 3 files you have. 3 files in the repository. So you have 3 files. Now let's, you see here. Now these are the files you want to version, right? So this is the step number 3. Now this is the one-time command. For example, remember that Git, the architecture is little different. Git is not having any server concept. Okay, it's a distributed concept. So that I'm not discussing too much because I think many of you are comfortable. So we don't want to lose all the times in that only. So these are the command which will tell you to tell Git this is what you are, your name and email address. Okay, so you can simply run this command just a one time, and one more, and this one, right? So this is the something which we have. Okay, so this is something which you have. Now next one, you have to add any files you want to version. You have to add in the Git. First thing you have to do, you have to add in the Git. How do we do that? So there's a one file, right? Let me show you. Git add file1.java. I added. There's only one file I want to version right now. So I added one file. And after that, sixth step, you need to commit. And this copy paste and commit has happened. One file committed, file1.java, and done. So this is the repeat thing you will do. Simple. Modify the code, add a file, commit a file. Modify the code, add a file, commit a file. So this flow you will repeat all the time. Now how do you see all this commit and then all the information? So here git log, and there's one more command. This is a commit ID. Okay, so if you see git show and commit ID, enter. So git log and git show, you see these two information, you will have a complete information. So let me snip it actually. First thing, see here, I want to know who has committed. So commit was done by Rajesh. When it was committed, this one. Why this commit was done? This region. Okay. Now, which file? This file. And because it was empty file, content is not showing, but here it will be showing some content. So complete information you got it. See something like this. Look at this. who, what, why, where, and when. Understood, all of you? Any questions?
Not yet.
So this is something which you have to do in the loop. You will modify the source code, add it, commit. You modify the source code, add it, commit. Remember, modify the source code, add this, and commit. So this is, we are working in the local repository. Okay. So this is called local repository. Okay. Now I want you to focus on this image. And this is where you will get to know architecture of it. This is the most important image what I am having right now. And if you understand this, you understand the Git complexity, or maybe you can say Git anatomy or whatever it is. So guys, in Git local repository itself, there are three areas we have. See here, if you look at this in the home folder, in the desktop folder, I created one repo folder called Git, and there's one folder called repo1. And this is where we are writing a code. Okay, for me, if I understand in my right now the demo, it's under desktop Git, but in the image, little bit deep inside that. Okay, so the place where we are writing a code, that area is called workspace. Okay, and there is one folder you might have seen that, that's a .git, which I have already shown you. Here it is. So this folder, okay, this folder, the folder, uh, hold on a second. This one, not that one. Why is taking that folder? Not sure. Okay. Anyways, so this folder is divided into two parts: staging and repository. Yeah. Now this folder .git is divided into two parts: staging and repo. Now it's not a good idea you want to go inside and check it, because you won't be able to understand this anatomy. But this is at the visualization level. This will be in staging, and this will be this we call it a staging and repo. So overall three areas we have where we work: workspace, staging, repo. Okay. Now you know what? Then you will ask, why do we have a three space? That's the first question you will say. Why we have these three areas in Git? And then second questions you will ask, why always I am doing add and commit? That is the something why I am doing. Here if you see that, add here you did, and then here you did commit, and this you have to do always. Why we do that all the time? So guys, what happens, you modify the files. Here you have hundreds of files. Okay, and now you are sure about it. Okay, there are some files you want to send for the versioning. So versioning is done by here in repo. See, one version, two version, three version, four version, five version. But you know, before, I mean, by mistake also, you should not version something which you don't want. So then what we have, just give me a few seconds. Yeah, yeah. So here, if you see that workspace, the file you modify, okay, and then you send to staging area. And staging area, how do you send? Using the git add command. Why we were adding the git add? Because you were sending that file to staging. Staging is a kind of review place where you can review what file is there in the workspace, what is there in staging. That will give you the all the status. Now whichever is committed will not get it that information. So here the staging is for the review place, and if you are sure, okay, you want to commit that file for the versioning 100%, then commit. and commit will take the file from the staging, remember, and then go ahead and create these objects. And these objects is the one which you see 40 character hash value. This is basically identifications of this commit ID itself. Okay, so this is something which we have it. Are you understanding, all of you, why we do the add and commit now?
I think so. Yeah.
So here always, no matter whether you have a new files or existing file, the content has to be added. I mean, file has to be added, and then it has to send to staging, and from staging, commit has to make to go to the repository, and repository is a place all the versioning is being stored. So now that's the reason what I have done. If you look, read it very carefully. Here when I say git add, here which I have written add file from workspace to git staging area. And when I say commit, then committing files from git staging to repo area. So this image you will be able to understand. Now there's one more popular image which you can see on my screen. This is also depicting the same message. From working directory to staging using git add, and from staging to repository, and that is using git commit. So this is how it
Can
works.
can we see the staging area?
Yes, the command which we have for staging area is git status. Now if you read this command, here now you have two files on the status, file 2 and file 3. File 1 is also there, but it is not showing by git. Why? Because git will show you only the files which has not been versioned, whereas system commands will show you all files. So right now git is telling, hey, these two files I have not versioned, and it is an untracked file by git because a new file. Do one thing, git add it and then start tracking. So what I'm doing, git add all, which is adding all file, or let me add only one file instead of all, 2.java, and I added one file to staging, and now you see that this file is still untracked, but now this file is staging. That's the reason you are saying, hey, do you want to unstage it or you want to commit, whatever. And then now if you commit, this file will be committed. Understood now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so these are the three areas what you have. Now I must tell you guys, Git, the one which I'm teaching you, it is a distributed and it's working with a local repo. I must tell you here, wherever you want to work with Git, no matter whether you are adding, committing, branching, merging, conflict resolution, tagging, everything you do in the local repository, everything. That means the repository which is located in your laptop, everything you do in the same. So now the question is, then how it works? How do I share my code with others? That is a important question, right? You will have it. How do I share my code with others? And that is where you need to understand how it works. So let me go to that. Git workflow remote repo DevOps school. Okay. And probably this will help you to understand. Okay. So let me help you to understand through image. Here, if you look at this image, okay, in this image, there are four different laptops. Okay, let's say this is Rajesh, this is Rakesh, this is Jamie, this is Ashwani. Four different engineers are working together. Just give me 2 seconds. Just give me 2 seconds.
This
Sorry.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So now can you see my screen? All of
Yeah,
you?
it is. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So here we have a four repository. I repeat, the one I showed you only one repository, but in this means one repo, one repo, one repo, one repo. So now the question is, how do I share my code with others? Now guys, when I say sharing the code with others, then basically I'm talking about the objects which is in the repository, not in workspace, not in staging. You always share committed objects with others, not the code which you have in the workspace, not the code which you have in the staging. I repeat, you always share the committed code with others. So that's the reason when I say repository, it contains committed code. Okay. So now the question is how these four people will share the code with each other. So how it works? So here also git repo, he is also having git repo, he is also git repo, he is also having git repo. So let's say this is me. So this is my local repo LR. And for me, all others are remote repo. So what? So now the question is, how can you share your committed code with others? Or how others code you can get it? So you know what? Git allows you to push and pull between the two repo. Yes, two repo. Any two repos, you can do the push and pull. That means if you have a subcommit objects here, you can pull or you can push. Very simple. These objects you can pull and push and share. Basically, you can say sync. The moment you do the push and pull together, this repo and these repos is in sync. I repeat, sync I'm using. Syncing between the two repo. So how can you do that? Pull and push. Now, which protocol has been used for that? SSH and HTTP. So over the network, because these all are located the different location, so you can do that. But you know what? If you have a pretty large, if you have a two people, then it makes sense. Three people probably it makes sense. But if you have a too many people, then you will have a fight. Fight for what? Fight of like which repo I should do pull and push, because there's so many people are working in a team. So I don't want to spend whole day pushing and pulling. So what do we do in this case? So in this case, what has happened? The team has come up with the concept called central repo. Let me remind you, these earlier I talked about the local repo, which is mine. Others are remote repo, but now they have come up with the concept called central repo. Central repo is just like another repo. But you know what? What team have decided, they will do, instead of doing the push and pull against each other repo, will do the push and pull against central repo. And in this image, if you see, there is one central repo and everyone is doing the push and pull. Those who wants to send a code push, those who wants to get the code from the central repo pull. And push pull, this is how you do that through SSH and HTTP protocol. Are you comfortable with it, all of you? Hello?
At some point it will be. For now, it's a bit confusing for me, but
Yeah,
I'll get the hang of it.
yeah. Okay, now so central repo concept you understood, but you know what, many times later what has happened, many people started fighting for more features around central repo. This one, the one which I'm hovering, many people started discussing about they want the more features. What features they want? So someone say I need a wiki on the place where you have central repo. Wiki means something like I want to write a document. Someone say I want issue management capabilities also, something like a Jira on the around central repo. Someone said that UI has to be improved. I want the Explorer UI Explorer to check the code. Someone said from the security team probably role based access. Someone said, hey, I want to manage not only one central repo, but I am having 30 projects in my organizations. I want to manage 30 central repo. Someone said, I want security. Someone said backup. Someone said this. Someone said that. So many feature people have started asking for it. And then Linus Torvald, who developed this tool, okay, he said, no, we have no plan to develop anything else than Git. Then you know what, that is where many organizations has taken up an initiative, because Git was loved by all the developers, but hated by CTO. Yes, because CTO required much more capability for the enterprises. So that is where the many organization has come up, many more than 100 organization has come up, and they said, hey, we will develop a software which will have all this kind of features, and then you'll have to pay for it, like a GitHub server, GitLab, Bitbucket, Gerrit, AWS, Azure, and hell lot of it. And they say no problem, we will provide all these feature, but only the things will make it free of cost for the public, but for you, for the enterprises, will charge a little bit of more. And that is where we got the GitHub server, which is a very dominant place, which is basically for central repo, which has a wiki, issue, this all these features. Now you understood that what is the difference between Git and GitHub server? All of you. Git
Hmm.
you won't have Git you won't have any as such feature like this one. GitHub will have all the feature. So GitHub you can say is a hosting platform for Git repos. What kind of Git repos? Git central repo, where people keep the central repo at a GitHub, and using SSH and HTTP, they work on it. That is what exactly we have GitHub. So now the coming back to the questions, can we start working on the GitHub? So this is the GitHub. Anyone can register and open an account. I think most of you must be having it already. You know, nowadays GitHub has evolved a lot. You know, this website, they have recently changed the homepage. So you can log in, and nowadays everywhere they have enforced the policies for many things. Nothing can be done because security is one of the core area nowadays. So 362.62047. Done. Now anyone can start an account, and here you have organizations. You can create your free organizations here. If you look at this, I've created so many organizations. Organization means one account can create multiple organizations and they can work on it. So here my one organizations where I typically work for demo, which is here. See that view organizations. Look at this. So many repository in this organizations. You have 89 projects, multiple teams, multiple people, multiple packages can be there and work on it. So many repository, remote repository. So let me create one of which. So this is one repo, Kend, and 14th June, this one. And I'm creating public. Public means anyone can access the content but not modify. Private means only the people whom you allow that to access the content or modify the content accordingly. And created repo. Now you know what? This I did it online, and something similar I had done it here, init command, if you remember. If you remember git init, I had done that was the first command in order to create a repository. Something I did. It's not coming in the history, not sure why. It's here. Here, git init. So this I did on the website. Now if you look at this whole feature, the one which we discussed earlier, you have it. So look at this repository. You have a issue tracking. Issues you can manage just like a Jira. You can write a document just like a Confluence. You can create a CI. CI means Jenkins, you know, right? Jenkins pipeline. Here it is, we call it actions, and security audit, and pull request, PR, pull request, multiple branching, merging concept you can implement. Two protocol is there, HTTP and SSH. This is one HTTP because I selected it here. And now everyone can work on this repository. Are you comfortable so far?
Yeah, in general, yeah.
Yeah. So now the question is what to do? What to do? So here I am going to commit. Now guys, SSH I cannot use it. Why? Because the key you have to upload, public key of SSH, public key of your laptop, you have to upload here. Now I have already uploaded in a different account. So same key I cannot upload this account on GitHub. So I will go with HTTPS. Okay. So let me copy this HTTPS URL. And now I am going to this repository which I had created. How many commits I am having? Only one. Let me commit one more quickly. Git commit am adding all git commit hyphen m adding all and then commit push and origin master. Oh, sorry. Push which branch master and then URL. I'm pushing to this. Oh, sorry, my bad. I need to push URL and master. Branch name should be at the end of it. Shortcut I have it, but not now. See, I'm pushing that. Now there is authentication issues. One more time I need to run it. It should prompt me user ID and password. See here. So log in with your browser, or you can provide the token also, PAT, which you can generate. But let me try with login with my password. And wait a second. Nine one eight 429 authorized. Authentication succeeded. And see, it's gone. Push has been completed. Remember that two commits, I did it from local repo to my central repo, which is at the GitHub. Now, can I refresh this guy? See? And now whatever you were doing on the command line as a developer, now you can browse this central and see here all these two commits. And I don't think so I have to tell you how to browse any website or something. Here you can see everything, multiple branches you have and multiple things. Now here you can create a issues ticket. Let's say devopsschool.com is not working. There's a ticket I created assigned to someone, did all this date and submit an issues. Okay, this is a CI place. I'll teach you some demo. I'll give it to you. Just give me some time. This is a wiki. You can create a pages, and this is the markup language you can write. These are the language supported actually, pretty huge. And save this. And multiple pages you can keep creating new pages, and so on. There's so many options you have in the settings also. For example, if you want to give someone access to collaborate and they should be having editing access or read access. So here you can invite a people or a team. Organization, you can add a team and then individual people and give the access. Are you understanding, all of you?
think so. think so.
Yeah. So guys, this is your GitHub. This is your GitHub. Now, one of the things which I want to tell you, which is called actions. What is action? So basically, I don't know how many of you have understood the concept of CI, coding for CI also. I think last day I taught you coding for infra, right? Using Terraform. I think I'll teach you next session which we have in Ansible, where I'll teach you coding for configuration management using Ansible. Nowadays, concept has come for coding for everything, simple. Okay, so CI. So if you have used a Jenkins, then we have a Jenkins file. Okay, but here it is like a Jenkins pipeline. Like here you have tried a code for CI. Okay, and these codes they have given it to you. So if you look at this, a lot of example of code they have given it to you. See many. Okay, so typically what happens, let me give you the little bit of conceptual knowledge. So typically what happens, uh, this is your code. Okay, and this code you want to see whether you can deploy in the production, yes or no. This you have to decide. And this, for this, all this thing, we have to automate this process. Automate this process. So what do we do in this case? So this is where we create a CI and multiple stages we have. For example, we scan the code in this stage. Then we build this code here. Build means, let's say, scanning the code through Sonar Cube. We do that. I'm writing in short actually, and popular tool I'm using it. Build, we do that through Maven probably, right? Then we run the unity test cases, let's say GUnit. Then we package the software, war file or something. Then we archive the packages, something like Artifactory we use, JFrog. And then probably you create an image using Docker or something. And then finally again you store somewhere, and then, or something like this, and then you deploy to the test environment using Ansible. And after that you run the acceptance testing, 10 different types of testing. If test cases is passed, then you decide to deploy to production or something like that. So this whole process is called CI process. And this is called stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, 5, and so on. Now all this thing has to be driven by the code. Okay, and the most important part, every process must be linked with each other. So this automatically trigger this one, this automatically trigger this one, this automatically trigger this one, and so on. And it can be pass, it can be fail. So this process, it can be, is called CI process. Are you comfortable?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this process, we call it a CI process. Now this is something you are writing a code here. So let's go for basic code. I want to show you, let's say this is a simple workflow, configure. They'll give you the code free of cost. You see, there's a code here. Okay. And what this code is saying, this is a YAML code, and they'll be stored in this .github location in your repository, workflows and all. Name it you want, whatever it is. And here you say the moment someone pushes to the master branch or pull from the master branch, okay, then this should automatically start trigger. This will happen in the cloud because it's a cloud application. And how many jobs you have? So there's only one job here. Look at this. There's one job. When I say job, that means what? So this is a job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, job 5, like this. So here you have a, oh sorry, my bad, jobs, and here this is the stage 1. Build is a stage 1, mind it. So jobs is not equal to stage. Multiple things can be converted into jobs actually. So this is the stage, something like that. So the architecture is like this. First you have a jobs, then stage, then you have a steps. So I'll give you a simple way. This whole thing is called one job. Okay? And then convert into multiple stages, and each stages will have a multiple tasks like this. So here if you see there's one job, here one stage, multiple steps you have it, just for sample. So I'll just commit this code. You can complicate more, and automatically the moment it should start building up. So you see here, see build is in progress, first one. This code has nothing actually, so it will not fail that. It's just echoing and all, but slowly see build successful. Why? Because just echoing, right? Nothing else was there. See, complete job. See, these all are echo and all. So done. So next time, whenever you modify the code, let me modify the code now through online, through GitHub. This is the code modifications I did, commit the changes online, and you see automatically that will get triggered. See, automatically you see build number 2 is in triggered now. Got it, all of you? All of you? Hello? Yes, okay. Okay, so now what do we want? So guys, there is one feature which is called pull request. What is this pull request? So I want to tell you something conceptually. So pull request is something like a, let me explain you the scenario. This is the one repo, so which is in GitHub. Now you clone this repo and then you get in local. Now repo divided into two branch, let's say master and feature. Okay, so this is divided into two branch. So here also you get master, and when you clone it you get a feature. Now guys, what happens sometime due to the some process issues, you are not allowed to push to this branch. You are not allowed to push. Okay, you are not allowed to push. So what to do in this case? What to do? So what happens when you are not allowed to push? Then you have taken this one and then you push to some branches. Let's say you modify this one, so you create one branch here and you push to this branch. Okay, you push to that branch, and from that branch you make a merge request to this. So this process we call it a pull request. So there's one auditor, and this is you. So you are requesting, hey, I've completed my code, I have pushed it, and you take a pull from this to this one. So you make a request to that. This is the one scenario. But second scenario, what happens? You may not have access to this. So what do? You clone, not clone, fork. You fork this repo to this repo. Okay, how can we fork? So let me show you. Let's say this is the repository and there's one fork C feature. You cannot fork your own repository, but if you are others repo, you can fork it. Okay, so this is a fork feature. So if you fork it, this repository will be fork at your account of GitHub and other name. Now what you do, you see you fork it here. Now you clone this repo, modify the code, push this, and from again you make a PR to this repo. So that way, PR means pull request. So that way you can get the work done. Are you understanding, all of you?
So fork means what? Is it a copy or a pointer?
Huh. Okay. So I'll give you the difference between clone and fork. So clone means the repo at GitHub, which is a remote repo and central repo, will be cloned to your desktop, your workstation. 100% clone, just like a Matrix movie, right? Clone. Now, when you say fork, fork is also clone, but it will be happening on that same platform where you have. For example, let me clone it. Let me fork it. Uh,
On a central repository, it happens.
yeah, let me fork some public repository. See here. Uh, see this guy. This guy has some 146 repo, and let's say this is the repo. See, I'm not the owner of this repo. Do I have access modifications power? You see, edit if I do, see, I don't have access. It's saying fork it if I want to modify. So what will happen? The moment I repository this repository, I fork it. Where is a fork? Here. And you see, I become the owner. And you see, created a fork. See, I become the owner. See, here it says forked from this one. So right now Devops school is owner. Earlier, who was the owner? This one. So now what I'll do, I will, because I'm the owner of this repository, I can do whatever you want. And then once I commit to this, push to this repository, I can make a pull request. For example, you can say, hey, create a pull request and take from my, which is here. I have not changed. There's no changes right now. To, you see the arrow, this one. Look at this very carefully. DevOps school to this guy. I'll request him, hey, take my changes. Got it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that way it is a fork.
So,
So now,
by architecture of the Git, whichever it is, good GitHub, when you fork it, it will have a more of a um, showing the same content where it is originally available, but it will show you just only like a mirror. But whatever the changes you make on top of it, it will occupy space only for those changes. And is it like it is showing something, but in the back end everything will be intact? Is it something like that, or it is
no, it's
complete
a
copy?
separate complete copy. I would say
Okay.
sync. Remember,
Okay.
clone I said, clone, but it will happen
Mm,
on the GitHub.
GitHub. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so this is called PR. PR means you can create a process for that. Action I showed you. Here, if you have worked with Agile board and kind of things, then you will understand this one, Jira Agile board. You can create a project and what kind of table you want or board you want, what kind of you. I think this list used here it is to do in progress done. So here this is something you decide the work, one work, second work, third work, fourth work. And then finally, every day you have a meeting. Hey, what's going on in this? I think you guys are good in that. I don't have to teach you. You guys must be following some process. So this is something which you have at the GitHub already. And if you are, because it's a part of the CI, right? You create lots of packages. Where do you store it? So this place, as of now, this registry service, GitHub registry service, you can store Docker image package, Java package, NuGet package, Ruby package, Node package, and containers. Why these two things? Docker and containers. I need to understand the difference between these two. Okay, I need to understand, but yeah, both the places you can store Docker images. Got it? So these are the packages you can store it. Now, let's say you can create a team. Sometime, managing a individual is difficult. So you can create a team. See, these are the team I created. Let me create a team. Devops, some unique name, and visible, enabled, whatever it is. Create a team and add a people into that. And you can invite a people, add more people, and then this team you can add it at the repository level during the giving the access. For example, let's say you want to give access to some team. So here you see add a team, add a people, add a team will be easier. So here you can add a team, find a team of DevOps school, DevOps, something like that. You see here.
So
So
this is how the open source groups work, huh?
yeah, managing the team access to the repository, you create a team, add a people to the team, and then add a team instead of people. So that way you don't have to add hundreds of people in one each repo, because you have hundreds of repo, right? If you keep adding each and every individual, you'll get mad, right? So likewise. And then there is some security scan feature. You can scan the repository for SCA and SAST process. This is something which you have it. Okay, so this is the GitHub. Any questions, guys? All of you?
Have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.